My name is Sam Sanchez. I was born in Puerto Rico, and I've been in the United States in 1955. Okay. After grammar school and high school in the city of Bridgeport, I volunteered to go to the Marine Corps in 1968. The Vietnam War was on during that time. It was the peak of the war in 1968. I volunteered in the Marine Corps. I went to for boot camp. Then, after graduating from boot camp, I went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. After ITR, infantry training, I came home on leave for a week. Then I ended up going to Camp Pendleton, California. Now, once you go to Camp Pendleton, California, especially during the Vietnam War, you know you're on the way down to war zone in Vietnam, especially during that time, during 1968, when they had the Tet Offensive going on. A couple of weeks later, after I got to Camp Pendleton, I was shipped out to Okinawa. I was on Okinawa 2 weeks, and 2 weeks later, I was on my way down to Da Nang in Vietnam. That was the rear of the 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines, 3rd Marine Division. I ended up with a company named India Company. The following day, when I was in the rear, we had incoming. Incoming means mortar coming in. We heard that my future company, which was an India company, was somewhere up around the DMZ. I heard that same night they got hit. When they got hit there, a guy named Bill Prom, and there was a firefight. William Prom got the Medal of Honor for my company in 1960. It actually happened in February 9, 1969. I joined the unit then. A couple of days later, I ended up joining the unit in the machine gun, the M60 machine gun team. Now, that was not my MOS. My MOS was 0351, which happened to be the flamethrower, the bazooka, and the 1.6 recoil rifle. That's what we had known. We were trained that for anti-tank weapon. But I ended up in the machine gun as a replacement because they were getting killed, or getting hit, or getting wounded. Well, as far as experience is concerned, about a week later we had a firefight, which 2 of the guys got blown off with a grenade. That was one of my first experiences that I seen in the war in Vietnam. As I continue on for the next couple of months, humping in the jungles of Vietnam, I encountered a couple of firefights. Going fast forward to one of my worst experiences. In June 6 of 1969, we were in Operation Virginia Ridge. We were in this place called Mother's Ridge. And Mother's Ridge is in the upper section of South Vietnam, close to the DMZ again. Actually, our battalion was operating on Da Nang, Quang Tri, Da Nang, Khe Sanh, and Mother's Ridge, and the rock pile. Anybody who's been to Vietnam up north, everybody knows what the rock pile was. So anyway, it was this day on a Sunday afternoon, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We were thirsty, hungry, and after the helicopters came in, brought us some chow. As soon as we started humping means getting the package, the pack on, and going back to the trail, we got ambushed. In this ambush, I was one of the few guys that got hit from behind. I got hit in my back with an AK-47. I'm laying there wounded, praying like I had never prayed so hard in my life. In the meantime, all I'm seeing is grenades going to this side, grenade goes to that side, and it wasn't until someone, and I don't know who that person was, but it was another brother Marine that came to my rescue. He asked me, Sanchez, how badly are you hurt? And I said, I don't know, man, I just can't move. He said, hang on, which means don't die on me. He went and checked another buddy of mine that all I could see was his boots, and I think that was one of the persons that were killed. He came back and he opened up with his M16, he carried me back. Now, as he's carrying me back, I saw helicopters coming in, bombing that area where we got ambushed. and this helicopter picked us up, the wounded, and all I know is I'm going in and out of consciousness. And it wasn't until I got back to my first state that I don't know if it was the corpsman or the third marine medevac, that I saw myself coming up from my body and looking down at the corpsman working in my body. Okay, I lost consciousness. Thought I was dead. I didn't know what happened. All I know was that I woke up maybe a couple of days later, 3 days later. I don't know. I can't recall. I can't remember. With blood going to one vein and IV blood going to my vein and a hemothorax tubes going to my side. Well, I survived. After a couple of weeks or so, I was sent down to the hospital ship, the United States ship Repose, down at the South China Sea. From there, I recuperated a little bit more, and I was sent to Guam, a United States Naval Hospital in Guam. From there, I was taken to St. Albans, New York, West Haven, Connecticut, VA, and I got my discharge in XF-51 United States Navy and Marine Corps Reserve over here in West East Haven. Now, interesting, because through all these years, I know I had problems. The experience in Vietnam, now being welcome home. Then I got to drugs and alcohol, and to make a long story short, I didn't know what my problem was, but my problem was I was having PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. They found out that I had that. While I was working in Scott Dodge, my manager, Ernie Orsini, and I decided to locate some of my friends. And about 3 or 4 years ago, Ernie and myself, we looking for people that I didn't even know who they were. But it wasn't until the next day that I had an answer back from this lady called Teresa Smith, that she says, "Sam Sanchez, sir, I have been searching for you since 1997. My name is Teresa Smith. We have a reunion in Colorado Springs. I'm the one who's in charge to get it together from India Company together. Would you like to attend?" I went there, and when I went there, I met about 15 or 16 guys that I haven't seen, Marines that I haven't seen in almost 38 years. Throughout this year, I didn't know who was the person that were wounded or who was the person that were killed when I got wounded. I came to find out that I was the worst one of the wounded. There were 17 of us wounded, and there were 4 men killed. One of those persons killed, this happened 3 years ago. One of those persons that were killed was my team leader of the machine gun, the corpsman named Mueller from Pennsylvania, this kid named Frost, and Dennis Miller. Those were the guys, 4 that were killed. And it's amazing that after all these years, you put everything behind your head, you don't remember who they are and this and that, and after 40 years, everything comes back, and now all the pictures coming back to your mind, then you know who these persons were. They were your best buddy, your best friends, people that you never met in your life. And this, I have been to a few reunions lately, and and in this reunion I have met these other guys that I haven't seen in many years. It's an emotional experience, and that's part of my, very sure, one of my worst experiences that I had now. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hurrah!